From Prison to Peer Work, brought to you in partnership with the Pursue It If You Want It nonprofit organization. Join us as we explore these powerful narratives that not only highlight the struggles, but also celebrate the victories of individuals who have used their past as a stepping stone to build a promising future. We delve deep into the lives of individuals who have turned their experiences into powerful stories of success through the strength of resilience and peer support. Stay tuned for episodes that promise to be as enlightening as they are inspiring.
Warning, the following interview is recorded live, uncensored, and unrehearsed.
Hey, welcome. We are back with another inspiring story on the series From Prison to Peer Work. This is a Pi Talk podcast production, and I'm sitting here today with Peter Galloway, and we're going to get right into it because that's what we always do, right? Can you share some memories from your childhood?
I remember the earliest memory I probably have is a house full of Christmas presents. I was maybe about 3 years old, and we just had the whole house was full of Christmas presents. Don't know how my parents, my mom or my dad did it, but that's my earliest memory. I also remember driving a boat. Yeah, driving a boat from early childhood. Well, how far you want me to go?
So what was your neighborhood and community like in your earlier years?
Um, well, most of my childhood I grew up in Tumwater. From about the third grade through middle school, I grew up in Tumwater. I lived over there on Cleveland Avenue, and the neighborhood was predominantly white people. It was only black people in the neighborhood, and we and growing up in the school district,
So you're the only black family in the
we was
neighborhood?
the only
That's what
black family in the school district
in the whole district.
that I know of. Yes, I never seen nobody up until high school, and so we had I would say that it was maybe not all the way racist, but definitely prejudiced. And
Culturally challenging.
yeah, sure.
Were there any significant events in your childhood that you think shaped who you are today?
From childhood, significant events. Let's see. Um, Probably not growing up with my biological father. That was pretty significant. Um, in and out of the juvenile system, that was significant. I was raised up, well, probably in my early teens from then on, by, a juvenile, juvie, and on into adulthood,
Yeah. So when you say you weren't raised by your biological father, so you were raised by a stepdad, and did you
was
find out
raised by a
later on,
stepdad.
like how did that happen? Did you know he was your stepdad the whole time, or
Yeah,
did
I
you
knew he
find
was my
out?
stepdad. He
Have
was
you ever met your biological father?
I have. His name is Peter too. He's Peter Senior, and he's a good dude also. But during my childhood, and I guess with their relationship, he was not there. He had some struggles that he had to deal with that, made him unavailable for raising me.
Yeah. Did you ever talk to him about that?
I do. I talk to my dad probably every day now, and I understand. I understand of making mistakes in life that are in behaviors that aren't healthy.
Yeah. So how old were you when that relationship cultivated between you and your father?
I can remember my biological dad being there, like I said, when driving the boat, and I was too young to even be in school. You know, um, from that point, I just remember, only thing I remember was the house full of Christmas presents. That was where my biological dad was. Uh,
I'm talking about like now. So you say you talk to him now as
I
an
do.
adult. How did that particular piece of your relationship, evolve?
Oh, I was in Thurston County Jail when I was 18, and my dad just happened to be in the annex part of the jail too. So I guess he found out that I was there. Some people knew, and we sent a kite, and shortly thereafter that, we was trying to connect, and we made several attempts but couldn't. And
While you were both still in jail?
while we was in jail, and he ended up back in California. He was trying to connect with me and my brothers, and I ended up going out to California running from the law,
Mhm.
and I connected with my dad when I went to California.
So you had like, when you mean running from the law, you had a warrant,
I had a warrant.
Washington, went to Cali, and then kind of that's where your relationship kind of
Exactly.
rekindled and
Yep.
started with your dad as an adult.
Yep.
All right. So can you describe your life before your most recent incarceration?
So my most recent incarceration was I was released from Cedar Creek Corrections in 2020. My life before that was chaotic to say the least. I was heavy into drugs, the womanizing. Um, you know, I really didn't have a care for structure. I was running the streets. I was selling and using drugs. I was, having multiple relationships, and I was kind of running around like a loose cannon. I was very violent, and my relationships were bad.
Yeah. How did your involvement in gangs shape your earlier years?
Um, started about I was about 14, and at this point, I had hit the streets. I was tired of going back and forth to juvie. I was old enough to make my way in the streets, um, and the people that I was around just happened to be supportive of the direction and path that I was going. So I felt like I was accepted, and I felt like what I was doing and what I had to do to survive was a way of life, and these people accepted this way of life and accepted me for who I was and wasn't trying to down me for doing what I had to do. And also influenced me to I thought, also influenced me to be trouble.
Yeah.
That was my name. I was Little Trouble, and they pumped me up for that, and it came naturally to me. And so, introduction to gang life.
Yeah. So on an interview of myself, I actually had made a comment about if you took the DNA strain of gangs and gang life the way it is now, and the DNA strain of a cult, they would be very similar. How
Right.
do you feel about that statement?
I think it's absolutely true. I think it's absolutely true. We're set in a way of living, and it's it's kind of like a choice to live that way, but not a choice to get out of living that way too.
Mm,
You know.
yeah. What led to your diagnosis of mental instability and substance use disorder?
Mm, well, I've been diagnosed with PTSD,
Hmm.
and I've been diagnosed with, I don't know what to call it nowadays, you know, borderline manic depressive, or I don't really pay attention to the diagnoses like that. I didn't really get all off into it, but that's my diagnosis is panic disorder, anxiety. And what I think led to it was the catalyst that really led up to it was me getting shot, attempt on my life. And so I used to, when I was laying in the hospital after surgery, I would I'd wake up, or I'd still be sleeping, and I'd be having nightmares, night terrors, and I'd be fighting for my life every dream for about, that still happens. But every dream I have is different situations, but I'm fighting for my life and I'm getting killed, but I won't die.
Different movies, same
Same
end,
plot.
same
Yeah.
plot, basically,
Yeah.
right?
I'm always I'm always helpless, and I'm always helpless, and I'm being murdered, but I'm not dying.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah. Thanks for your vulnerability. What was the turning point that made you reconsider your life choices while in prison?
The turning point in prison. When I got arrested and did 60 months, the thought of not being there for my son, that was the turning point for me, because I love my son. I call him three. His name is PJ.
So
Um,
Peter 3,
Peter the third.
Peter the
We
third.
call him three or PJ.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out PJ. Um,
Shout out PJ 3.
uh, the thought of not being there for my son, and since the first day that I got arrested, it was for no contact order, and I had a deep rooted value system that man should never leave his family for no reason at all, even if there's a no contact order. And I never left. I didn't have multiple, multiple new law breaking the laws or
Violations. Yeah.
criminal activity. I just,
You just kept
at the
going home,
kept going
and it
home.
was breaking no contact orders that
Yeah,
led to a 60-month prison sentence
60 months. I got 2 prison sentences
for the same thing.
for no contact order violation.
Um, can you share more about the solitude you experienced during your incarceration?
Um, so when I was in car, when I used to go to county jail, um, being that I had extensive history in being incarcerated and
Being violent?
long being violent. Yeah, thank you. Being violent, I was classified as, I have to be in my own cell on 22 and 2.
So, for those of you that don't know what that means, 22 and 2 means Peter was incarcerated in a cell for 22 hours and only allowed out for 2 hours, which would have to take care of your shower, your phone calls,
Right,
whatever it is that walking around, bouncing a handball off the wall, whatever to get your
right.
recreation. You only had 2 hours a day to do that.
2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Um, so that really affected me, because you would think that you get some time to really go over and reflect on, why you're in here, what you're going to do to change. But for me, it's like, being with my diagnosis is and stuff like that,
It's like
or maybe
sometimes
just coming
sitting with
down.
yourself can be a good thing, and
It
other
was not
times
a good thing
it
for
could
me.
be really harmful.
It's very harmful for me, and it's like at that point my internal self was against me,
Yeah.
and it was like I'm, you know, being haunted by myself. and I never wanted to be alone.
So, how did participating in rehabilitative courses impact your outlook on life?
They gave me a space to express what's going on without judgment, and it gave me a spot to where I can go and be vulnerable at, you know, and nobody's gonna see Trump Loco over here acting like a bitch, or
You mean
nobody's
nobody as far as like the population?
the population, the people in the support groups are going to, resonate with what I'm going through. And, especially with it being um,
And that's why confidentiality is so big in
confidentiality
those
is so
support
big.
groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with it being confidential, some people need that. And I needed that to help me to alleviate some of the pressures and pains that I was going through.
Yeah. So you found a safe space to share in.
Right. I'm an advocate for support groups.
Yeah. What did you learn from the reunification therapies you participated in? And how did graduating from parenting, MRT, and substance abuse programs influence you?
Um, it, this while I was incarcerated,
Hmm. Or did you graduate from some of those programs afterwards?
I graduated from being inside and graduated from being outside.
So different programs inside and then some
Yeah,
more programs outside.
right.
Okay, so the question is how did you learn from the reunification therapies you participated in? And how did graduating influence you?
Well, both inside and out, I learned, and I learned a different way of communication. You know, especially in relationships and how I come across myself. You know, I learned how to communicate more effectively. I learned, and I'm still learning emotional regulation. I'm still refining these skills. It's an everyday thing in my experience to humble myself. Um, and that's pretty much and learn how to be open and honest and have integrity
Mm.
and walk with your chest out and your chin up. This is what I learned from all of those things, and it's really done me good so far.
Okay, what was your initial reaction after you got out of prison after 5 years? What's the first thing you did?
Ate a cheeseburger.
Where'd you go?
We first thing I did ate a cheeseburger after 5 years. Um,
What cheeseburger had your heart after 5 years? Was it a
I think it
McDonald's,
was a
Burger King,
jumbo jack.
Jumbo, Jack in the Box, huh?
Yeah, I think so. No, let me take that back. No, let me take it back. It was a Crunch Wrap Supreme from Taco Bell. I
Ooh,
had seen it on TV for so long and I wanted one. And you know, Sharon came and picked me up and took me to
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Yeah,
Okay,
bought me a Crunch Wrap.
nice. So, a little bit deep now, right? How did you cope with the realization that your former spouse and son had moved on without you?
Hmm?
How did you cope with the realization that your former spouse and son had moved on without you?
Mm. At first, I tried to, give them. At first, I tried to be the boyfriend on the side so I could be included. That didn't work out, you know.
It rarely does.
Then I had tried we genuinely tried to have the open relationship, give baby moms her freedom and choice. She can do what she wants. I'm just trying to be down, you know.
So, what was your goal in that thought process? Was it to be in your son's life, hers, or both?
I was in my son's life. At this point when I got out of jail, he was still in temporary foster care. but I wanted also to be in her life personally.
So
You
you were
know,
trying to put your family back together.
yes,
Okay.
immediately when I got out of prison, I was. And that changed quick when I found out that she had moved on, and I tried not to accept it. And then I tried to accept it, but both things I was trying to still be included in her life, and
Yeah.
it hit me hard because the whole 5 years I had vision of, I'm about to
That
put
being the
my
case.
family back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what emotions were you experiencing when you discovered your dream of life after release was crushed?
I was pretty much devastated, devastated. I felt like I did a whole lot for nothing. And then, you know, I was trying to stay determined to hold on to my, maybe I can, maybe I can change it. I was just gone for a long time that this type of shit happens,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really me, people fill in, but it's my spot,
You just wasn't
go get
ready
my
to
spot back.
you just wasn't ready to accept it.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so how did turning drugs and alcohol affect you after your release? And is that the catalyst? Is that what's led you back to? Or was it something different?
Mm, well, there was drugs and alcohol in the mix when I got out too. With There was drugs and alcohol there in the mix.
So you were that was all part of the equation
Yeah,
immediately after you got out.
immediately. I didn't. I was.
Was
I
waiting
had
for
the.
you.
I had the notion that yeah, I'm clean, no drugs, no alcohol. I'm pumping it up to people I talk to on the phone and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but then I get out. I get out, and at this location where my residence was, it's really thriving. It's not just like user. It's like really popping up in there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, so I was the next morning or the same night, I don't remember which one it was, but I knew I was back to smoking as soon as I got back to the crib
So that kind of leads to the next question, which is what led you to heavily use and start selling methamphetamine?
because that's what was going on right there in our little cul-de-sac. Every, you know, it was just there. It was abundant.
Yeah. So I know these questions seem hella random, but it's by design, right? How did your involvement with multiple relationships impact your mental health?
Um, it made me feel like I have some worth. I would have different levels and different types of relationships, but they was all based on, you know, I feel like I'm somebody more, and for my own self-esteem, when I could connect with this young woman or this whatever she might be, whatever narrative she's living, you know, this might be my girlfriend, this might be my trap queen, this might be my whatever, whatever, whatever. At one time I had 5 girlfriends. I don't. I'm glad I got to where I am today.
Yeah.
You know, period. I don't think that's something that I'd go back to or promote at all.
Okay. So what was the turning point that led you to choose between prison and a drug alternative sentencing program, drug court?
The turning point that chose made me choose between prison.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen in my experience a lot of people be offered drug court and either fail or just not accept it. So what changed for you that made you decide drug court was the way you were going to go this time?
It's kind of a two-part thing. Um, it was probably Brianna, and I didn't care at this point. I did not care about my life at all, regardless if I was in prison or had a hope of still living. I was just in too much pain, period. And at that point, I was one of one of the only joys of my life was, Aubrey and Brianna. Aubrey being my daughter,
Hmm.
that was the only pleasure I could even feel. I was so numb, and I really wanted to have a relationship. The only thing that I could see even worth living for. And so pretty much Bree was like, "You're going to drug court." And I showed up. She's the one that dropped me off at the inpatient center. She wouldn't leave until I walked in. One day I was sick, dope sick, and she took care of me enough before we even had a daughter or anything, enough to me even notice her.
Yeah.
You know that really she really grew on me that way because of her care for me when
Yeah.
I didn't even care for myself.
And you said that's a two-part. What's the second part?
The second part was I wanted to I wanted to change. I wanted I believe that my brother's death, you know, needs to mean something, and I wanted to leave legacy behind. You know,
Yeah, I remember that. My condolences.
you know.
I know you've heard it before, but yeah. So can you describe moments when you felt suicidal and what brought you back from those attempts?
Um, I committed suicide 3 times. Uh, I did it by fentanyl. My drug of choice was methamphetamines, but one time, well, I did committed suicide twice. One time, I accidentally hit some fentanyl and I died. And I was brought back by this guy that was in the house, you know, and no, that was the second time. I don't remember how I became revived the first time, but I think I was in a trap house or something, and I was revived, and I didn't know what happened. I
Yeah.
just woke up and they was like looking at me and like, what was going on? And it was like you was dead, and this is when I was severely depressed, and at that moment, and I didn't. I was like, I was well in my head, being me, how sick I was. I was like, I didn't even feel nothing. Well, that was easy, you know, and I just logged it away. That's an easy way out. So when it came down to the next time, and then the next time after that, I just always thought, I can be out of here and not feel no pain no more. And it was enticing to me, not for the fact that, I just want to do a drug or anything, but I don't want to feel no pain no more. It's just overwhelming.
Yeah. How did the hope of others in the court system influence your decision to give life one last shot?
That would be referring to drug court. And I remember the day that I was at that podium and it was orientation for drug court. And no, I'm at the table and I'm in trial. I got 15 years hanging over my head. And you know, I'm numb. I just want to die. I don't, I don't, I know I'm not gonna go. I know I'm not gonna go to prison and do no 15 years. My life is up soon as I walk out of here. I don't probably
So
want to.
you had basically made up your decision at that point. So
I had a
that.
piece of fentanyl in my pocket that I know, since I don't have no type of resistance to this, it's going to kill me. If all I got to do is just hit it real hard. I'm not scared of 15 years. I'm not scared. I can't feel anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on this earth, you know? And so it was my second day of trial, and they stopped the trial. And the prosecutor came over and said, I mean, this is something unheard of. I'm
Yeah.
2 days of trial. We jury
No.
selection and everything. And the prosecutor comes over, asked my attorney, would your client like to try drug court? I'm like, where did they do that at? And I was like, I'm hanging my head, and it didn't resonate like yay or with me like that. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're still numb.
whatever, it could fix you, could help you out, Peter. I'm like, I don't want this life. I don't care. I don't Life only promises more pain, regardless if it's good or bad.
Yeah, that's where your mindset was in
Yeah,
that moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you have any hope? The judge asked me, you have any hope? I said, no. Do you think you're going to make it back for tomorrow? I said, I don't think I'm going to make it through today. You know, and I think it was Miss somebody told me that they wanted my life, and they was like, just trust me, and they came and hugged me and everything. They was like, you're going to be all right. Just try one more time, but you got to try your hardest and put your best foot forward and listen to what we got to say, and I promise you, you'll get better. you
Yeah.
know and so I gave this is that was 7 months ago. I'm still doing it every day, putting my best foot forward, trying the hardest I can to be better and better and better.
What pact did you make with yourself and your higher power?
That's the pact I made. I will always strive to. I'll never be at my best. you know I will never promote negativity no more. I won't. I will try my absolute hardest not to harm anybody intentionally. I'll eradicate negativity out my program. I'll do everything I got to do to keep on. You know, I owe my life. My life ain't mine. I owe my life, and
Yeah.
I got to do something good with it by decree.
So what changes did you make to grow and improve yourself?
Um, man, there's so many changes I done made, but I would say I've been organized. I've got organized, and I've disciplined myself. I've tried. My major changes was being open-minded and putting away the culture that I come out of. You know, putting away the culture and ideologies that is acceptable over here,
Mm-hmm.
but over here having the same ideologies or things going on in your head or self-talks or whatever they might be can it literally will literally hold you back from progressing.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I am by decree have to progress, with with me, my higher power, my brother looking down on me, my mama proud, I have to put away all this stuff that, empty out
That
everything
serves you
that's,
no purpose.
yeah, serve me no purpose, not
But
the narrative that I'm
I
living.
take that back, because, and we'll get into it in just a few minutes. It does have a purpose. We'll get into that, right? So, can you describe your experience in IOP, which stands for intensive outpatient?
Intensive outpatient. Well, right now I go to 3 classes a week um, over here at Thurston County Drug Court.
Mm-hmm.
These classes have helped me identify um, dangerous situations, help me to be able to, you know, run my own life successfully, and um, to get where I want to be. You know, and it's helped me. They help me figure out how to make my own goals
Mm-hmm.
and it's not an easy program to be in by far, you know, or your level of accountability, integrity, and your honesty have to be, pristine, like 100%.
Yeah, you got to be on top of your game
You have
to succeed in drug court for
but
sure.
yeah, drug court is a very good program, man. Well, I won't say I owe, but they definitely have been a partner in my recovery.
Right. And how did securing a full-time job contribute to your sense of purpose?
Mm, Say it again.
How did securing a full-time job contribute, or how does it contribute to your sense of purpose?
Um, yeah, having a full-time job, especially the position that I am now, which is I work for a landscaping company, and I'm a crew lead. Um,
Two crews. You
Two
lead. You
crews.
lead two crews.
Yeah.
I know you want to be humble,
Yeah.
but come
Yeah.
on now.
It's
Vanity.
cool. It gives me a sense of responsibility, and to know that this company has entrusted me. I'm going. Well, not yet because it's only my first week, but they're going. I'm gonna be driving. I'm driving a crew, the company truck around, by myself. Before, nobody's gonna give me their F-450, with
Nope.
thousands of dollars of equipment, in the back, and be like, all right, see you later.
Not with permission.
No. So it gives me a sense of responsibility, and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too. So the career path that you're pursuing, however, um, how did you choose that, and how have peers influenced and supported your journey?
I chose behavioral health, even before my recovery, even before when I was in a low spot in my life. It always made me feel good. Well, for as long as it did, I would like to help other people, you know, to the point where I would, give and give and help other people, whatever they do, even though my life was all the way messed up. Maybe I did it because I'm going to help them so I don't have to help myself. But that's something that stuck with me before and after.
Hmm.
And, it really makes me feel good to know that I can help someone out. Like when I first got out of incarceration, I like to cook, you know,
Okay.
because it's a way to bond with people and just to look to know that somebody's satisfied and, they getting enjoyment off of something that I did. So being in the behavioral health system is a way for me to, grow my self-esteem like that by helping other people, and it makes me feel good. I
Yeah.
kind of like it.
Okay. So, how do you plan to demonstrate to your children that you have changed for the good?
I can demonstrate to my son, my daughters, by keeping on moving forward, you know, that I've changed for the good by not doing anything that they may remember me by, or, repeating past actions that has traumatized them or had the potential to traumatize them, and keep showing them that, daddy's the changed guy. And I really want them to know that, Amy, not just my kids, but, all my whole families.
Yeah. What challenges do you still face, and how do you overcome them?
Um, Challenges I face. Well, I won't say it's a major challenge, but a minor challenge kind of is there's not enough hours in a day to do everything that I be putting on my schedule.
So, time management.
Time management. Yeah.
How are you coping? How are you overcoming your time management or lack thereof?
Run.
Explain
Yeah.
yourself.
Instead of walking to the appointment, I run.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Nah, on challenges is, staying focused is always a challenge for me. I like to multitask, but sometimes I bite off too much than I can, than I think I can handle.
Yeah.
So focusing is a major factor for me. Another challenge is, you know, reaching out when I should be reaching in.
Your
Um,
self-awareness is really profound, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. I should be reaching inside myself and, really working on. Now, I do work on myself predominantly for myself, but, staying away from situations where it could be hazardous to my recovery, I still want to reach in that fire. You feel me?
Mm. Meaning
And
like helping people that don't want to be helped yet, stuff like that, or
right, or trying to lead somebody who wants to go their own path, or trying to interfere with what God's plan is for the next person.
yeah.
It's not my position to do
So
that.
being attached to the outcome of others' journey.
Right,
That's a
right,
big one.
right.
Yeah. What message do you hope to convey to others who are in a similar situation as you were? Why are you here? Why did you agree to share your story?
Because I want my life to influence other people in the same traumatic situations as me.
It's a good reason. How do you stay committed to your pact with yourself and your higher power?
Mm, Maintenance, pray, keep my head up. You know, as drug court would say, trust the process.
Mm,
You know, uh, as some of the support groups would say, you know, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference, and I want my brother to look down on me and smile and know that he had a lot of influence on he had a lot of influence on my life, whether he knows it or not, and he was in his own traumatic situation, you know. And I don't want us to go out like that.
yeah. What do you think your brother would say to the fact that you are officially a recovery coach? And I'm sure, I'm confident when the results come back, by the time this airs, after your name will be certified peer counselor.
Good shit.
I knew him. He probably would.
Good shit. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about those achievements?
It just pumps me up. It makes me smile. It pumps me up to have something worth meaning to me and that means so much to the community, attached to my name. Now it's not Trub Loco, that I'm and that works in the same kind of way, but it has a negative stigma to it.
Hmm.
I'm a certified peer counselor, you know.
Say it again.
I'm a certified peer counselor.
Right, right. And what advice would you give to someone who feels hopeless and stuck in a cycle of addiction and crime?
What would I say?
What advice would you give them? Or what would you say if it's not advice, if it's just some inspiration?
I would probably say the thing that came to me, what was resonate with me when I first, it was just keep coming back.
Keep coming back.
Keep coming back. That's all you got to do. Just keep coming back. and then let everything blossom from there. But that one phrase, if I could say any one phrase that had the most impact on my decisions and where I'm at now, it's just keep coming back, straight up.
Would you say that peer counseling or peer counselors have been a significant role in your recovery?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like most of my support group is peer counselors or mentors or something, of that nature.
All right, we're nearing the end, and at the end, I always give you one last question, and then I'll give you the opportunity to ask me 3 questions of your choice. I fear no question. What are your goals for the future, both personally and professionally?
Okay, well, the professional one is kind of easy. Um, I would say my 2-year goal is to gain an AA in business or something having to do with behavioral health. I start I start college this summer quarter. Just found that out today. Uh, 5 years from now, I'll be. I haven't identified maybe just one position, but I know that I'm going to be, somewhere in behavioral health, helping people make it through trauma, and I know that's what I'm going to hear. That's what God has planned for me.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the
Yeah.
field.
And personal goals. Um, I just want to keep moving forward and never lose, control of my mind again, not poison myself. And I just personally challenge myself every day to just promote humbleness and, positivity no matter what.
All right. All right, you got 3 questions. You got about 5 minutes or so to keep to the time structure that we usually do these in. So, shoot.
How do you feel your impact has made on, like people you used to be in your former life?
Um, I hope it's positive. I receive messages in my DM quite often. I try to stay really humble and just keep focused on what I'm passionate about, and that is making that count. Before you know I made ripples, it was in a really negative way, right? And now I'm hoping that the ripples that are going out and out and out and growing with the things that I'm doing, and not just what I'm doing, but how I'm living my life authentically, like what's on Facebook and what's when we sit down and talk. That's what it is with me. It's not a game. It's not like, all right, the camera's on now, I got to be this person. Like I am in my most comfortable, authentic being now than I ever was when I was gangbanging or running the streets or doing all that stuff for external people to give me accolades and acceptance, right?
Mm,
Now I'm just me, and at the end of the day, man, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and and,
right.
and I'm a helper, I'm an empath.
Yeah. Question number 2.
Question number 2.
Let's see. What are some of the struggles or mental blocks that you had to break down when you was moving into peer work?
Um, Probably the discouragement of I did multiple interviews. People would tell me, I was charismatic. I answered, like I interviewed great. They were calling me back for second interviews. And then they were telling me because I had got sentenced in 21 that I wasn't basically good enough to work the job because I hadn't been far enough removed from my sentencing day to be worthy of being in the field as a CPC or as a behavioral health. And when I was at the halfway house, there was a lot of barriers with what I was trying to do. And so yeah, I think that for me was the hardest barriers. Like, I paid my debt. I've been working on this blueprint, and I set myself free 3 years before I even got out of prison. So for somebody to hold it against me that I just paid my debt, that was like really hard for me to process and deal with. And it just kind of motivated me. And I'm currently, undergoing another blueprint to start a really large advocacy push for that, because I know a lot of people, you know, I'm a program manager for a program that's giving people the ability to get certified as a peer counselor while they're in prison. Now, if they're getting out and getting told no, it's like, what am I doing it for then? What is our mission? Where does our mission go if we're giving these people certifications that could end up being more harmful if we're giving them hope and then they're being told, no, you just got out, you can't work in the
Right,
field.
right. Yeah, I've ran into that a few times my damn self.
Hmm.
Last question. Where can I get some gear? Like, you always be having the shirts with the stuff and stuff. And where
Okay,
can we get
so
some?
so basically you just got to DM me. I'm not rolling in dough. That's also, to answer your question, probably one of the biggest challenges of doing things the right way. As I'm learning about credit. I'm 40 years old and I'm just learning about credit and financing and all these different things. I'm not rolling in dough, so I don't buy stock. So if people want hoodies like this, you're gonna have to DM me and cash at me ahead of time. And I use local. I don't go to big companies. And one of my bros has a printing, and for him it doesn't make sense unless there's 10 hoodies or more on the order. So basically, I collect money. Usually, I run it, like I'll make a post on Facebook or something, and I'll say, "Hey, I'm taking pre-orders." If I don't get up to that point, if I get like 7 or 8, then okay, I can buy 3 or 4, just so that it makes sense for him and the 7 people don't lose out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And so that's pretty much how it happens. If you want one of these hoodies, um, DM me, hit me up on Facebook. I will answer. If I get enough inquiries, then I'll start collecting money, and I'll put an order in. I just mailed off some. Some just came this week. So, and every time they're different. Sometimes it's the Pursuit 365 here. Sometimes it's on the sleeve, but always it's the Pursuit if you want it. Reach for your dreams on the back.
Right.
That's always the thing. But
That's all I got for you, brother.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate your vulnerability.